Hey there guys, how are you? Welcome back to another awesome video. It's time for another movie review. Today's movie review is going to be of Toy Story 4. So Toy Story 4 is the fourth installment of the Toy Story franchise. I'm hoping the last. Well, actually I don't know, but I'm thinking this is the last one. But we have Woody and the gang on a road trip to basically find a new toy named Forky, who was literally made by Bonnie, so that little girl from the third movie, obviously. And they also encounter new toys and also old friends. So, why do I start here? Because, let's face it, it's kind of... The Toy Story franchise has been talked about a lot. And me, personally, I love the Toy Story franchise. Say what you will, maybe it's becoming overrated or not, but it's so timeless, it's so precious, all three of those movies. I love the first Toy Story. I may have not grown up with it in the 90s, but a part of me felt like it was a part of my childhood for many personal reasons. The second movie still is good, and there's some things, there's like small tweaks that I'm not too sure about, but I still like the second one, and I really love the perfect sort of send-off for Toy Story 3 and how well that movie made and how well it did, and just that capping off with, I guess, the Andy saga, I guess if you want to call it. I don't know. So this is obviously a new telling with Bonnie, the fourth one, and obviously Toy Story 4 has already been reviewed before and talked about before, and everyone's either on the likes of it, like they love it or they hate it. So let's just kind of go over like the basics right now. So this is directed by Josh Cooley, who I think this is his first time in the director chair. He's done some really fantastic work with Inside Out, with all the other Toy Story movies, and all sorts of producing roles, writer roles, all sorts of that sort of credit and everything. This is the first time him stepping into that actual chair. And I want to give him a lot of credit for putting so much effort into it. Because whether I like this movie or not, you could definitely tell this guy really wanted to make this a not a personal piece, but he really wanted to make this not just for the money. And I hope that wasn't the case. Some people are saying this was just money in the bank, but you could tell this guy was looking to tell something, and there are aspects of this movie that are worth telling. The flashbacks, I think, were really great to add to the beginning of the movie. That adds evolution, of evolving our characters and seeing them kind of progress differently. Seeing Woody kind of progress differently as a character. He's really gone through a really big change here. And in a way, him kind of dealing with this character, with this toy, this so-called toy, Forky, somehow now sentient, I guess. I don't know how the whole sentient thing works, how a toy is able to be sentient and how this thing's able to be sentient, because this dude's technically a spork. So, yeah, he's called Forky, but somehow through eyeballs, a mouth, pop gum and popsicle sticks, he's alive. So I guess there's a theory on that, but anyways, enough of that. So him basically trying to keep an eye on him, he works almost like he's watching a little kid. He's watching and talking to Forky like Forky is a child, a little infant that just was born a day ago. And it's kind of a nice dynamic. At times I'm like, okay, I either like this character or I don't like this character. I'm not gonna lie. The guy Forky is voiced by Tony Hale, and I know Tony Hale can be very funny, and he does give a few laughs here and there of the character. And then there's some things I kind of sat there. I was like, I feel like this is kind of going on a bit too far, this run-on joke or just little things here and there. It works fine. I'm not gonna say he's bad or good. The character, it's just kind of he's fine, I suppose. But I'm gonna be straight honest with you guys, Chiefs, gamers, and all around and all that stuff. This although does feel like a part of the Toy Story trilogy and the anthology and everything, and it's obviously a continuation, but obviously not telling it with Andy, but through a different kid, obviously. This feels more like a story more centered around Woody, because this feels more like this is his movie. This is his send-off. And we'll get into his send-off a little bit later. And just to make sure, real quick, guys, obviously I should have said this before, but I'm going to say it here and now. There's going to be some spoilers. Not too crazy spoilers, but there's going to be some spoilers of the movie. So, this is more of Woody's sort of story. Him taking care of Forky, trying to make him that one thing that Bonnie loves. Because Forky's like, let me think here. How do I phrase this? Forky is like Bonnie's Woody to her Andy, where she's like really grown attached to this thing and really loves this thing and is just shares a connection with it and has this like thing towards it and gravitate towards it more than her other toys. Not saying that kind of sort of favoriting this toy, so-called toy, but sort of. Because you can definitely feel the vibes in this movie that Woody is playing, not really second fiddle, but whenever Bonnie's playing with the toys and everybody, Woody becomes not the big picture anymore. And I think Woody's used to that sort of feeling because he misses that feeling that he has, and that connection he has with Andy. So that's a big part of what happens throughout this movie. And even him seeing friends like Bo Peep, which I thought what they did with her is really interesting. They really stepped up and made her really, like, not mature, but the sort of, I guess, message they're trying to go across with her character and her new dynamic is definitely really a mature object and aspect. Because Woody is used to looking at it through the person's perspective, always caring about that person's needs. And Bo's like, well, what about what us toys want? You're always looking to basically carry out your life, your legacy for this kid, but what do you want? What do you want personally? And that's an interesting concept, I guess, in sort of a movie like this, especially for Pixar, because that's really a big step up. And obviously, the animation's really great and all, and it really looks like it's gotten better and better and better each movie that has progressed. Each Toy Story movie that they've made has definitely, the animation has gotten more beautiful, more solid, and more fluid. That doesn't mean the first two not saying the first two had bad animation. I'm saying they did have great animation, but this one's obviously, you can definitely tell technology's coming a long way, a lot better for many details. And you can tell they're like in high def here, and it's gorgeous. So let's kind of get into the other aspects of this movie. And so, okay, so let's get into this. I guess let me just the elephant. Let me address the elephant in the room. A few elephants in the room, and we have a villain, and it's I guess something. It's something because at first I was like, okay, this feels very cliche because this is like a very bait and switch sort of villain character and whatnot and everything. And it kind of gives you the feel of like this eerie, creepy, like doll, like via Chucky, via Annabelle, where it's like, oh, I'm cute and innocent, but I'm gonna kill you sort of aspect in her mind and wants like sinister like thoughts in her head. But she doesn't come across as menacing or sinister. She does at first feel very creepy, but then they take it to where she feels more sympathetic. That route is good, but making her this sort of like eerie, sinister, creepy villain doesn't feel right. And the whole bait and switch, it's like, doesn't even feel that strong. It kind of comes off like, hey, I'm the villain right here and now, when you're thinking, wait, is this supposed to be a bait and switch thing? And the whole bait and switch kind of like villains are kind of become very tiring a little bit in Disney movies and Pixar movies. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work. A lot of them don't. There are very few exceptions I will take, but other than that, just not really. And it kind of sucks because this doll here is voiced by Christina Hendricks, and Christina Hendricks, although is a very talented actress, she is a very voluptuous and sexy actress. I am not gonna lie. I'm sorry, but I love you. I don't want my. Okay, whatever. My point I'm trying to make is I'm gonna be kicked in the doghouse. Let's just say, but yeah. But all seriousness though, just forget what I said about that. All seriousness though, Christina Hendricks is definitely a great actress, and she definitely, it's not like, it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, she puts a nice voice to it and puts her acting really good, but the whole creepy eeriness didn't work for me. The sympathetic part kind of did. So, because towards the end you have, she's a lost toy and she finds a lost kid. So it's kind of like a match made in heaven, and I thought that was really strong, and that really conveys a lot of different images and a lot of different messages about many aspects. So you're probably wondering why I'm saying this is more of a Woody story rather than a Toy Story story, because your favorite, like, all the other characters you remember, like Buzz, Jessie, Bullseye, Rex, Mr. Potato Head, Ham, all those characters you remember are barely there. They feel very underused, and they're just kind of there. And they do something with Buzz, and I'm like, it's there, but it's not there, because everyone else is just pushed in the back. And that's kind of the situation. If they kind of would have basically pushed those guys aside, then that's fine. You just have this more about Woody and his arc going from being a character. Because every time you see the other characters, they're just doing stuff, and you're like, okay, it doesn't really further the story that much, give or take, and everything. And even when you get towards the end of the send-off for Woody, which we're getting there, don't worry, really doesn't feel as strong. It doesn't feel as emotional. The send-off that they had in Toy Story 3 feels a lot bigger, feels a lot more emotional, with each character getting their own individual sort of share of time, of screen, and character, and all these other things and whatnot. And it's kind of disappointment, because if you're trying to put these characters in here, you had missed opportunities. Just the send-off alone kind of feels just like, okay, watered down a little. It's like, it doesn't feel... I didn't feel that much of emotion. I think it would have been better if they either had these characters up in the side or up in the front with Woody, or just pushed them completely out of the story. And if they were going to add them to the story, there's kind of some missed opportunities. Like, I think it would have been hilarious to see Buzz interact with the Duke Kaboom, because not only is it the fact that this character is so hilarious, but the character is voiced by Keanu Reeves, and I think that would have been funny how very similar both Buzz and Duke kind of are in some ways. So that would have been funny to see, but that's kind of like wasted, and they kind of missed out on something there. So the send-off. Why am I keep going on about this? Well, because the fact of they do this thing where Woody decides he wants to stay with Bo. That Bo and Duke Kaboom, who's Keanu Reeves, and you got the bunny and the duck, which, by the way, are hilariously voiced by Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele. Those guys are obviously they're great. They're great in general, and I get a good laugh here and there. This movie doesn't feel as funny, but the laughs, I get a few chuckles here and there. But, anyways, Woody decides to go off with Bo and with these group of toys to basically help out other toys, help out themselves, and stay near the fair, near this antique shop, and all this other stuff, etc., etc., etc. And I was kind of let down, because the thing that because I haven't seen this movie I didn't get to see this last year, like when it first came out, and everyone's talking about Toy Story 4, and I was avoiding reviews, I was avoiding spoilers, I was avoiding all this stuff because I heard back in like 2018, 2019, during interviews like with Tim Allen and Tom Hanks, they were referring to this as like the Infinity War and the end game of Toy Story. And I'm sitting there thinking, are they gonna like kill off Woody? Like, I was thinking, like, how are they gonna do this? I was like, are they actually gonna pull like some balls or somehow make this emotional, for where you see your favorite character like in a kids movie, sort of not necessarily die, but maybe like straight up die, or maybe stick with the plot where it's like, oh, the voice box, because they're talking about voice boxes that toys have. So I don't know if that had to pertain to anything. Where if you lose your voice box, does that mean you deactivate or die as a toy, where you can't move on because now you can't walk, you can't talk, you can't move without your voice box or without your batteries? Or I don't know if they're gonna do it in a message saying he can no longer work anymore. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But I felt very, very just underwhelmed. I was expecting this big, like, tear-jerking moment where my heart would be broken to have this moment in 2019 where Woody's not quite, but dead. Instead, they go this route of, yeah, he's just kind of going away, and he's just off in his own story, I guess. And I guess it's a nice idea, it's a nice thing. Obviously, it does evolve our character, and obviously Disney was probably like, we don't want to really upset kids in the audience, where they're like, kids are gonna be crying seeing Woody die. But this was the same, because Toy Story 4 came out in 2019, like literally last year, and this was the same year that Endgame happened, where we literally lost 3 of our favorite heroes, and well, maybe not 3, because technically Captain America might be still alive, he's just old, I don't know. Point is, we lost basically 2 to 3 of our favorite Marvel heroes, our favorite Avengers, in this MCU, and kids and adults went to see this, and everyone was crying. Infinity War was such a big cry, and such a great tear-jerker. I was expecting that same emotion, and I didn't feel that much. I did feel, like, the evolution, the sort of, like, feeling of wanting to cry, but I didn't cry. I cried more at, like, the end of Toy Story 3, and even during the incinerator scene. I cried more at when Woody has his breakdown, and Buzz has his breakdown in the first movie, where they're talking about, well, Buzz is like, hey, I'm giving up because I'm just a toy. Woody's like, I'm giving up because you're a better toy than me. That was more tear-jerking to me than this. And I have had so many, and I'm not trying to make comparisons, and it's hard to really say, like, try not to compare this movie to other movies, or even the first few sequels and original movie of Toy Story, but it's really hard to just not do it, and I'm trying not to so hard, but it just really didn't have me in the feels that much. I was expecting this to really just not punch gut me, but hit me in a spot that I never would have expected. Like something like Toy Story 3 would have done. Or even, let's not even go into the Toy Story movies. Let's look at Inside Out. That really hit me and punched me in somewhere I didn't expect. I was thinking the same thing for this. And this is Pixar, where they're known for really giving you the feels. And whether it's the good feels or the sad feels, they're good for doing that. And did I feel it at the end? Yes, I did. But it didn't hit me where I was expecting. And it kind of was like, not a letdown. I mean, not a complete letdown, let's say. It's really hard to say I hate this movie, because I really do like some of the aspects. I do like some of the characters. I like some of the things that they do dive into and delve into with maturity, and just like sticking with the whole growing up. And it's no longer about Andy growing up. This is about these toys growing up. Because we saw that already. 1 through 3, we already saw Andy grow up. This is basically saying whether this is the last movie or not. This is the fourth one saying we're watching these toys grow up, and we just saw Woody grow up. And this was basically his big final hoorah, his big final howdy. And this is a good final howdy, but I really feel like they built this up a bit too much. Because I was avoiding every single thing about Toy Story 4, and I watched it and I'm like, okay, I was really expecting something big because they built it big. Instead, it's kind of like, okay, it's a nice send-off, but it's just, hey, I'll see you around. It was nice knowing you, and little things like that, and hands the badge off to Jesse to be the sheriff. But other than that, it's just kind of like, okay, Woody's still gonna be around. He's just off there, and then the gang's over there. So I guess it's bittersweet, more or less. It's hard to really say. I'm gonna give Toy Story 4. I actually don't know what to give it, to be honest, right now, guys. So bear with me. I might come back for maybe like another discussion, or maybe for another like topic associated with this. But I really don't know what to give this, to be quite honest. I don't hate this movie, but I don't fully like it. Like, I like some of the things it did. I like some of the aspects. I like the animation. There's little, like, even, like, the subtle little things like, oh, there's a reference here, and there's an Easter egg there. Those are nice. The jokes don't feel as strong, doesn't feel as funny as the other three. So it's like, you either pick, not that you pick your poison, but you either like this movie or hate this movie. And I think I'm just kind of in the middle right now. Maybe I'll go rewatch it, and I'll give you guys, like, maybe, like, a better, like, full-on discussion. Whether it's, like, a, like, one of those, like, videos where you basically, like, go scene to scene sort of thing. Like, kind of like what, Everything's Wrong sort of YouTube channel, what they do. Maybe I'll do something like that and cover, like, each scene and go into every bit. Or I'll cover it, like, a different discussion or something. But right now, I think I'm just gonna kind of be in the middle of that. I like this movie, but I don't like this movie, but I don't hate this movie. So I'm probably in the middle here. It's hard. I could say I like this movie, or I could say I can hate it, or I might just be just a good balance in the middle for now. So I know it doesn't make any sense, but hopefully I can maybe find like another way to maybe rewatch this, or find more stuff to find that can make me say, okay, I know what I want to rate this movie. So I hope this made some sense to you guys in a way. So let me know if you guys liked this movie or if you hated this movie. What were your thoughts on everything about this movie? Do you like it? Would you say this is one of the best out of the Toy Story movies? Would you say this is one of the worst? Like I said, I can't answer that right now. So I'm just at least giving you guys my thoughts and everything. I may not have like a grade for this, but I'm giving you my thoughts, my initial opinion about it, because I just watched it on Disney Plus. Not sponsoring, but you know, Disney. I am wearing stuff right now. But all jokes aside, I was watching it, just so happened I watched it before, so I just figured to give it my thoughts. I know people were like, well, it's not really a bother to watch because everyone else talked about it. Everyone said their thoughts, opinions, and everything and whatnot on it, so there's no point. Part of me really felt like I want to talk about this because, like I said, you either like it or hate it, and I'm kind of like one that says it's okay, I guess, right now. Maybe my opinion will change. Maybe I'll think about it more all the time. Maybe this will take me this might even take me longer. Maybe this might take me a good decade. Who knows? Maybe by then I'll be like, oh my gosh, I've reached the point of maybe I do like this movie. Maybe I do love Toy Story 4. Or maybe I do hate Toy Story 4. Right now it's just set in the middle, perfectly balanced in that sort of way. But if you like this video, please smash the button. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I do awesome videos every day, if not every week. And ring that bell to be notified of new videos, new content, all that fun jazz. I'm gonna try and get as much reviews as possible. I will take those requests into and they're in the process of being filmed and edited and everything. So that's gonna happen eventually. But keep those suggestions going and those requests. I will take requests for comic reviews. If you want to see more comic reviews, top 10s, movies, TV shows, video games, top 10s. I said that already, but still, I'll say it again. Vlogs. I'm open to do vlogs. I'd love to do vlogs. I had a blast doing that Galaxy's Edge vlog. It was like dark and you can barely see what the hell is happening, but I had a blast doing it, honestly. I thought it was fun for me personally, and I think it'd be hilarious to maybe like get some people featured in it. I don't know. I know some people. I know people out there on YouTube that I can basically say, hey, let's vlog, and I don't know if they're gonna watch this video or not, and I hope the person knows who I'm talking to, but yeah, I know like literally like 3, 4 people that I know personally actually on YouTube, maybe 5. Well, after maybe hopefully people will be like, oh, you talk about me, you talk about me, you talk about me. We'll see. Heck, it doesn't have to be someone on YouTube. I know a lot of friends of mine that go to the parks. I could say, hey, let's meet up. Point is, it could be at the vlogs, open the vlogs, whether it's back at the parks, anywhere. So those are open, unboxings, those types of fun stuff. And I hope you guys actually really enjoyed this sort of review, more like my thoughts plus discussion sort of situation. If you guys have anything to add, maybe let me know, like as always, and whatnot, all that fun jazz. Like I said, I might get to those requests because I've got requests for like 1, 2, I think like 3 movies that was requested to review. I'll get those done. I have an awesome movies I also want to do as well. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.